Hey, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. We are coming to you from the Ernie Ball booth at Winter NAMM 2018. This is Jason Richardson. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
You bet. So you were out to GearFest this year and did some playing on behalf of Music Man.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of fun. My first time ever there. Sweetwater is definitely a really crazy place. That office is insane. I went down the slide.
You went down the slide? So you have been tearing up the metal scene.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Playing guitar.
Also Parrish, Osiris.
Yes.
And
All Shall Perish, Born of Osiris, Chelsea Grin, and then now just my solo stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your association with Music Man. What led you to these guitars?
Well, I got my first one when I was 14. I'm 26 now. I saved up for over a year to get my very first one when it was only the JPs were out. He had John Petrucci only had one model out, not like 12 like he does now or something crazy like that.
Right.
But honestly, I was just like 12, 13 years old, teenager. I wanted to get my favorite guitar player's favorite guitar, and I just was lucked out and happened to get like one of the best guitars out there, like ever. That was just I wanted to get my favorite guitar player's guitar, and it fortunately was the sickest guitar like ever made, and I've been playing Music Man's for over a decade now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about the guitar you're holding here.
This is a Majesty series Monarchy. It has one of the main differences of this one compared to the old Majesties that had the laser etching to make it look like carbon fiber, even though it was a maple. This one has the gloss top, like the gloss finish on the top, but then the matte on the back. And I definitely think that's very, very cool aesthetic. I can tell a difference live too, like when you're sweating and whatever, your arm is less likely to get stuck and slides a little bit easier on the gloss. Right. I found. It's got the flame maple shield right here, which is also new compared to the older models. Mahogany tone block, mahogany wings, mahogany neck, and ebony board. And it also has the DiMarzio Sonic Ecstasies in there as well, which I personally could tell quite a large difference when I got my first Monarchy compared to my older Majesties. Like the second I plugged my Monarchy into my rig, I could hear the difference in the pickups like immediately. Even though it's like subtle, but there's a difference that those changes are made, and it was definitely for the better in my opinion. I was really like the first note I hit was just like, whoa, I can definitely tell this is a sicker guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the difference that you were hearing?
I feel it sounded like almost like tighter in a way. I feel like that's like maybe like more consistent as opposed to maybe like a little more compressed. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but for me personally, when I plugged it into my rig with the Monarchy, it just had this like beefiness and like extra character to it that wasn't there before that I just absolutely love. Like especially when I dug like really deep for like the low tuned like heavier metal kind of chuggy stuff. Like that's what I would always like sound check with and things like that. It's best for the sound guy to get dialed in. So I was just literally just doing pretty much this and like immediately was just like wide eyed at how much of a difference that I could tell.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you have phenomenal technique, and obviously a lot goes into developing that. And I've been noticing there are kind of two schools of thought on technique. One school of thought is to start slow and to inch your way up, and another one is to work fast and try to get your brain happening at those higher speeds. Which approach do you take, and how did you go about developing your technique?
Both are good. I've definitely messed with both. They both have their own reasons and like applications. So the slow one I found works the best for me. Like when it's a brand new part, like you've never played it before. Like a lot of times I'll shoot myself in the foot and I'll write something really, 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 really difficult and never try playing at full speed while I'm writing it. And then I have to go play all these parts in succession live, and I have to practice it so much because I'm just not really like, I should be taking the live aspect into consideration, but I'd rather just like, me personally, just man up and force myself to play the harder stuff, and because that benefits you as a player and forces you to get better. The overshooting thing also works really well too. Actually, the new song that my drummer and I are playing on our tour right now, the pre-prod version is at 176 BPM, but when we recorded it and we're playing it at 173, so it's just a little bit slower. So we'll practice it on the bus at the pre-pro version. Then when we go to play it live, it just feels like just that little bit much easier because it's like 3 BPM slower, and that makes a pretty big difference when you're playing the super fast like technical metal stuff. And also too, like when you're playing it faster, like you're like, oh, I can't get it, and then you just dial it back down a little bit, and all of a sudden it's like 10 times easier.
Right.
Yeah. So they both are really, really good approaches for practicing getting the harder stuff down. I definitely would recommend anyone who wants to try that stuff to do both consistently.
Right. So obviously you've dug deep into the tonal aspect of playing as well. If you had one tip for someone who wanted to develop their own tone, how would you point them?
Get a Music Man.
There you go.
Yeah. Honestly, like these things, like I feel like it's really, really hard to make them sound bad. Like you have to like really try. I haven't tried. Like every time I plug it into anything, it just sounds great. Like like literally anything. Like the Cutlass guitars too. Like when I was staying at my girlfriend's house out in LA, they gave me a couple of guitars out here just to have to practice and jam on. I had the Cutlass plugged in her like little like M-Audio, just like 2-channel interface out of like some computer monitors, and just the DI signal directly from that, I was just like floored at how good it sounded. It sounded like it was coming through an amp, even though it was literally just a DI into a really, really, really low budget interface out of computer speakers. Like, and it sounded incredible still.
Because you have a great source you're building off of.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
Jason, thanks so much for taking time. I know you're getting on stage here to do some jamming here in a few minutes, right?
Yep. I gotta head over to my. I have a plug-in with Joey Sturgis Tones, my own guitar amp simulation based off the tones on my album that we got dialed in, and that's at 3 in 15 minutes.
All right. Well, we gotta get you on your way.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for talking with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
And
Thank
come
you.
back to Gearfest. We'd love to have you back.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm definitely down.
Great. Right on.
See you guys there.
You bet. See
Yeah.
you. And thank you for joining me at Winter NAMM 2018. I'm coming to you from the Anaheim Convention Center in the Music Man booth. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Jason Richardson.